It's 25 years since General Pinochet took power in Chile. His terrible rule is still deeply remembered for the thousands of innocent lives he took. All over Chile, the ghosts still remain of Pinochet's concentration camps. Students, unionists, communists, lawyers, doctors. Every politically aware young Chilean was at risk of being detained. Many never came out alive.
My father opened the door. It was the police. They asked my name, and I was immediately taken into a bus. There were big flashlights in front of my house, military as well, in a jeep with machine guns pointing at me.
In 1973, General Pinochet, backed by America, staged a military coup and took power from the democratically elected government of President Allende. In the years that followed, Pinochet's regime was responsible for the killing and disappearance of more than 3,000 students, professionals, and activists. Today, Chile's army would rather forget the nasty truth of their history during Pinochet's years. It was the height of the Cold War. Pinochet was pro-West, and the US didn't like the Allende government's left-wing politics. Without America's support, Pinochet could not have mounted his coup. Today, he's accused of devising the worst concentration camp regime since Hitler's grand plan. Pinochet rounded up everyone his forces deemed the remotest risk to his new military junta. He threw them into places like this, the Chacabuco desert camp. By the end of 1973, 250,000 Chileans had been detained in remote and god-forsaken prisons. Were you a member of a party? The Socialist Workers' Party, SOPO. Were you politically active in any party? No, I was an independent on the left. And now you're here as a prisoner? I'm detained as long as they're making their inquiries. You're a doctor? Yes. Were you active with the party? No. Are there many sick here? Most serious are neuroses and mental disorders. How do they manifest themselves? Insomnia, agitation, and trembling. What brings it on? The circumstances we're in, and the uncertainty of our trials.
When we arrived there, it was quite shocking to see the guards all surrounding the camp, because you see that sort of concentration camp in films. You never think you're going to be in one of them. Para eso he venido yo. Para esto he venido al mundo. A dar el testimonio. These unique images were taken by the only team of journalists to gain access to the camps. A European film crew had persuaded the Chilean authorities to allow them entrance. Their permit stated they were not to visit the detainees. But they talked their way in. It was an extraordinary piece of journalistic footwork. Some prisoners are dangerous. So although no charges have been brought against them, they must stay there until they realize that they're on the wrong path. Inside Chacabuco Concentration Camp, the film crew from Europe soon discovered what the right path meant. The first group of prisoners with whom we were authorized to make contact. We haven't yet begun to record any sound, when suddenly the scene changes. At first we took them for soldiers training. Then we found out that they were special category prisoners. The marching men are exclusively young communists. They're forced to sing military songs. Our camera is not supposed to see them. They're ordered to withdraw.
Lograremos fotografiarlos secretamente, pero hablar con ellos nos está definitivamente prohibido.
I saw them pass with their cameras in and out, but I never wanted to show my face because you never knew what they could do with your pictures, or if they show the pictures to some of the prisoners somewhere else, they may recognize you, and you would be in trouble. So everybody was sort of suspicious and didn't want to show themselves, unless there were people who everybody knew.
Were you a politically active militant?
Sí.
Yes.
¿De qué partido?
With which party? Communist?
¿Está esperando el proceso?
Are you waiting trial?
Bueno, no sé qué proceso se me puede
I don't know what trial can be called.
Y de ahí se
I was
me-
at work when I was taken to the National
me
Stadium,
se me dio
and
la
now I'm here.
fotografía y luego aquí.
Había indicación expresa, nada de torres de
We were given
vigilancia,
explicit orders, film
nada
no
de
watchtowers,
alambres de púas,
no barbed wire,
nada de guardias militares.
no military
El
guards.
comandante del campo,
The commander of the camp did not allow us out of his sight.
el recorrido
We
del
went
campo
around the camp
prescrito
following a
y
prescribed route.
acompañado.
And the film crew went on, deeper into Chile's most inhospitable zones, to find the most notorious camps. They were looking for a prison where they'd heard women were being kept. Its name was Pisagua.
Señorita, ¿usted de cuándo está
When
aquí?
did you arrive here?
2 de diciembre.
22nd of
¿Era militante de
December.
algún partido?
Are you politically active? No.
¿Hasta cuándo
How
piensa
long
que
do you
se va a
think
quedar?
you'll be here?
No tengo idea.
I haven't got a clue.
When the film crew left, we went back to the darkness and the horror of living under threat, continuous threat that anything could happen to us. Everything was prepared in a way to look normal.
Thousands of survivors from Pinochet's prison camps exiled themselves to safer parts of the world, like Stirling in Scotland. Patricia Letelier was imprisoned and tortured in the concentration camps. She spent 5 months there.
I started hearing the shouting and the screaming, really, of the men that were in another room. I went really cold and I was terrified. I didn't know, rather I knew what was waiting for me. So I was, shortly after that, I was moved to that other space, and there my torture started.
Today, Patricia lives with her partner, Oliver, and their son. 25 years on, she still suffers side effects from the torture she experienced during those dark, distant days.
And peace. Thank you.
Leonor Álvarez Reyes.
I'm Leonora Alvarez Reyes.
¿Fue militante de algún partido?
Were you politically active? Never.
¿Desde cuándo está
When
aquí?
did you arrive?
23 de noviembre.
23rd of November.
¿Cuándo se quedará?
How long will you be here?
Hasta que la disponga
Until the
el
commandant decides.
Inés y Fuentes.
I'm Iris Campos.
¿Desde cuándo está aquí?
How long have you been
3
here?
meses.
Almost 2 months.
¿Fue militante de algún partido?
Are you politically active? I'm a sympathizer.
Trabajar.
¿Cuándo piensa que saldrá de
When do you
Pisagua?
think you'll get out of Pisagua? I haven't got a clue.
After they tied my hand behind my back, they hung me from my wrist, eyes out down, and I have this bag over my head. My clothes were taken off, and they put water over me. And the more that I was shivering because of the shock, the harder it was the beating.
Wie ist Ihr Name?
What's your name? Patricia Letelier.
Seit wann sind Sie hier?
When did you come? 15th of November 1973.
Waren Sie Mitglied einer
Are you a member of a party? No, the only organization I was a member of was a left-wing student organization.
Danke sehr. Zeugen, die aus Chile entkamen,
Witnesses who were able to flee Chile have said that the guards abused them while they were prisoners.
Pisagua, 1974.
25 years later, Patricia's new life is very different. She's now comfortable and secure. Through the local Sterling Chile support group, Patricia, like thousands of other Chilean exiles scattered around the world, dreams about bringing Pinochet to trial.
He has been hiding behind this amnesty, and nobody has said that he gave himself this amnesty. Nobody gave it to him. He gave himself this amnesty as a condition to step down from power, so he knew that he was guilty. And that is what we have to emphasize. The man is guilty.
Caught up in the paranoia of the Cold War and encouraged by the USA, Pinochet had become obsessed with obliterating Marxism.
Tampoco digo yo que se haya triunfado totalmente sobre el marxismo.
I do not say we have totally triumphed over Marxism.
Es como
Marxism is like a ghost.
un fantasma. Cuesta mucho
It's
tomar.
very difficult to catch,
Mejor dicho,
impossible
no
to
se puede
trap.
tomar.
Whilst mass graves have been discovered around Chile's prison camps, the real business of killing and torture usually took place elsewhere. The Santiago Sports Stadium was chosen by the authorities for its holding capacity. 10 days after Pinochet's coup, it held 7,000 prisoners. The photographs were taken from a hidden place, an apartment in a high building overlooking the National Stadium, with a powerful telephoto lens. In this way, it was possible to secretly obtain the graphic evidence of what the world knows already from eyewitness statements.
We didn't know where we were going because they said that we were going to kill us. So eventually, trying to look up through the near side of the lorry, we realized we were getting to a stadium. So at least we knew we were going to be with more people. Some people would see us. But also we were afraid because everybody knew that in the stadium were killing people.
Aquí tenéis este hombre, yo no le encuentro delito. Crucifícale, 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 crucifícale.
They made you get your clothes off, and everybody went naked inside, just with a cover, your head. You start to sweat underneath. They hang me and they put electricity and all that all over my body. I was naked. And they interview, what they call interview. They interview me for, I would say, 10 to 12 hours. I saw a pile of people lying in there and a pool of blood coming out of this pile of people.
Es una guerra de inteligencia.
This is a war of intelligence,
en la cual
which we're treating as when one wants to have a good shave. We want to allow them to grow, so that later on we can shave them smoothly and leave nothing behind.
Para después afeitar suavemente y no dejar nada.
Pinochet had called a war, though there was no reason. He'd wrenched the heart from a young and vibrant country.
We were prisoners of war of Pinochet because it was a convenient term. We never had a war in Chile. It was not a civil war. It was Pinochet declared war to the Chilean people because they want to change the political system, or because they want a different way of life, that's all.
In the late 1980s, Pinochet was finally forced out of office and his concentration camps discarded. Recently, Patricia Letelier took her family back to the Pisagua prison most people would think she'd never want to see again.
We are inside the building now, where the women's jail, and a part of this hole here, piece of wood missing. The place looked like exactly as the time when we were kept. We lived in that building for 5 months with no light and just one window where we could have fresh air.
Within hundreds of meters of recently discovered mass graves, Pinochet has built himself a holiday villa. When Patricia visited there recently, she was told he still likes to be there.
As far as I remember, we were told when we were in Pisagua that Augusto Pinochet had been visiting the place a few weeks earlier. That's one of the things that kept me alive, really. I have to go back and I have to tell the world what happened there.
Danke sehr.
¿Dónde se han ido? Todavía cantamos, todavía pedimos, todavía soñamos, todavía esperamos.
25 years after Pinochet devised his evil system, the people who suffered still hope for justice. Pinochet may yet pay for the souls he so easily took.
De los que amamos tanto.